I'm Raj. Welcome to the author interview. Joining me is Shameema, and her book has been quite a journey, both prior to publication and now in the time of celebration. Shameema, welcome to the author interview.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Now, before we delve into the book, let's get to know the woman behind the title author.
Okay, so my name is Shameema Siddique, and I'm a qualified industrial organizational psychologist by profession. That's what I've done for a very long time, both in corporate and both as a consultant. So that was my field of choice, and I always knew my inner voice was calling for me to be a writer, and the stronger calling was for fiction first before nonfiction. I have been asked by discussants at recent book launches that have taken place, why did I not choose to write a self-help book or a psychology-based book? Because nonfiction would have seemed, a natural progression being a professional. And my response is exactly the same as it will be today, that fiction is also a very powerful way to help people. So I chose something that I enjoyed and a genre like chick lit, bordering on women's fiction. And that's how I've emerged as an author. So I have my debut novel, The Stylish Psychologist. I'm a mom of twins. I'm married. I have a very creative side. I love hosting events. And a surprise to me is that I also tapped into now a whole publishing skill set. So I can write your book and publish your book and maybe even get your book into exclusives. Done with mine.
This is so wonderful. I love the fact that you went against the grain, as you said, opting not for a self-help book, but rather looking at the ways in which fiction can be healing and helpful to so many people. Now, let's jump into the book, The Stylish Psychologist. Now, the cover itself tells us all about the style. But what was it that you drew on for inspiration in creation of this book?
For me, it was a timing issue. I had just left corporate after 10 years and I had experiences and insights and all of these pearls and nuggets that needed to go somewhere. And I thought, this is a time for me to write. It's a good time because I have very flexible work schedule now. I'm not doing a 9 to 5 anymore. And I thought that I want to write a story that I would like to read and haven't read enough of. And I thought of corporate politics in the workplace because there's always power and politics at play. There's always professional jealousy, and it's not overtly discussed.
Yes.
There's no forum for it. There's no committee for it. Have you ever heard of a corporate politics um, committee? No, doesn't happen, doesn't exist. There are internal procedures like disciplinary procedures where there's conciliation and mediation, but it wasn't really being openly discussed.
Mm.
So I felt like I was closing a chapter in my life and I had expertise. So why not tap into so much that I feel I have an incredible amount to say and do it in a funny way, do it in a way where the message comes across. So that's how I decided it was first going to be a corporate setting. And within that, I thought it would be very interesting to place a psychologist there as this resident psychologist. She's new and she's walking into a business that's filled with all kinds of issues, and they are in a place that they could be um, improving on areas, and that's exactly what a psychologist does. They improve the effectiveness in the way teams work. So it first began as just a story about a psychologist in business. And then I thought, what do I love? What's close to my heart? What will I have fun writing about? And I thought fashion, but let's not make it just fashion. Let's do fashion accessories like handbags and shoes and jewelry and create departments like that. And that's how you just start, sparking with ideas and creativity. And the stylish part was, goodness, a personality and identity, because essentially she comes in as the style icon and is very beautiful, and she's very stylish, and she's really good at what she does, and she's really qualified for her role. And she enters an organization where she's striving to elevate the style quotient around her, and she is unfortunately met with resistance. So she becomes somewhat of a fashion police and has to deal with mean girls in the workspace. So stylish felt like a good way to kind of marry it with psychologist. I also thought it would make for like a fun cover because people relate to style. It's a huge industry. And with the psychology, it's an interesting balance. Like, what does style have to do with psychology? What is the story about? So yeah, it
So,
it emerged as the setting and the plot was created.
so what I really like about this is we are multifaceted as individuals. And I like the fact that you've translated this into the character because we do have interests beyond just one aspect of life. And that is
Mhm.
something that I feel a lot of people will relate to, just like they will relate to mean girls in the workplace, just like they will relate to meeting resistance in the workplace. So I think that that's something that you would find a lot of people who read your book will go, yeah, I feel that.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
think that connection is something that is so important. Now, as someone that is newly published, tell me a little about your experience in the realm of book talk, of reviewing, and having your work now actually in the hands of other people.
So when I wrote the book and completed the book, that was a personal win for me. I had set a goal for myself to see if I could do it. It was almost like a dare. Can you actually write a book? I know that you can write, but can you write a book, a whole novel? And you know, I really didn't envision too much beyond that, although there was always that inkling that it would be lovely to see the book go commercial. It would be awesome to have those book launches and book signings. So, yeah, it was very much about a personal goal that I set for myself. So, organically, you want to know what others think of the book.
Yes.
And that's when I started to work with a PR agency, and they then approached even Instagram book reviewers. There are some amazing people on Instagram, and we approached Book Talk, and that kind of opened up a whole new realm because there are other book reviewers following those book talkers and those bookstagrammers, and also just community. People were buying the book. It was first placed in a local bookstore in Overport, and it was selling out on repeat. And, that was very exciting. And I started receiving feedback. And of course, the imposter syndrome is always there in all of us. You may be an expert in one area of your life, but when you place yourself in a new environment and it's a new career, then you feel really beginner and you're not quite sure what the feedback's going to be. I thought it was a very very good book. I thought it was very well written. What does everyone else think? And the reviews have been incredible. They have been so positive and exactly what you said. I think because I took on a multi-dimensional stance and a very real and authentic approach with the writing of the book. In fact, there's a lot of inner monologue that the lead shares. So, as classically we know in corporate, you have to present yourself in a certain way. You've got to socialize yourself to the company,
Yeah.
and that's your persona. But on the inside, our mind is racing, we're thinking things, we're feeling things, and no one's ever going to know that. and then you offload it when you go home, which is so unhealthy.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's expose the inner world of what a corporate professional is actually dealing with. And I think that's what makes this novel so special. And that's what made people, reviewers, relate to it. And each took their own angle and emphasized that in the review of the book. Yes, it is a book about corporate politics. Yes, it is a book about beautiful, talented woman. And it is, looking at themes around fertility without, giving away too much. So there's surprise elements in the book that you can't deny and would be touched on as part of a review, but there's just something special that each person will give to it. Like I love the fact that it's Durban based and it's talking about places that I go to. Um, I loved, the fact that it was such an empowering story and that so many women in corporate are overlooked, not really validated and recognized. They're just kind of doing their thing really quietly and not, gaining mass fame or being influential on social media about it, but
Even
they're
being
contributing
recognized.
towards bottom line in business. Exactly. There's no real recognition. And if it does come, it comes in small doses. So the experience of having reviews come in from people who do this kind of like either a business or a passion project, I'm not quite sure, but they love to read and they love to review the book. I think it just created a new portal for the book. So
Mm.
people were now looking at it and understanding it from a reviewer's perspective. If you follow a certain book reviewer or a book talker, you start to trust their judgment around the feedback they give you on the book. So that was a whole community that just learned about the book through particular people. So the reviews is really important. And I think because the reviews were so positive, I never gave up on the book. So I thought, let's just go a little further. Let's keep going, and let's see what.
So I'm gonna ask you, what would you say has to be the biggest lesson that you've learned in this journey to becoming a published author?
There are many lessons, but I know that I can be an extremely disciplined person. And this process, you're almost burning your literary self. And I described it to someone as killing off a version of you through the book and through the story, because that's how much you give to it,
Hmm.
which allows for you to be reborn creatively to write the next book and give a whole version of yourself to that book and die with that book so you can be reborn. So for me, the big surprise is just how much it takes out of you to do something brilliant,
Yeah.
to work on a project with brilliance in mind and to make it the best that you possibly can. So I'm very impressed with my ability to be consistent through this
Mm.
journey. And also what surprised me is that how much I did not anticipate the love that I received and the sense of community. I don't know what I expected. Perhaps I didn't give it enough thought. It was more around the book itself, but it's been incredible. Like I've really, really enjoyed and appreciated the way people have responded to the fact that I just wrote a book, because it's so much more than just a book, right? It's filled with resolutions for people in corporate. It's filled with possibilities of a young person who's about to enter corporate and understand what the landscape could be and how to navigate that. And, also just very senior people have liked the book as well, although I thought it was targeting 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds working. Um, no, I was very surprised. A lot of senior individuals loved it because they could be retrospective and reflect on perhaps a time when they worked and dealt with some sort of politicking in the workplace. So yeah, they were good surprises, bad ones. Yeah, it's just a beautiful journey and it blossoms unexpectedly.
I think that it's really good when you can see the support of a community. Sometimes we, as you said, we don't realize that this is what the support will be like. This is what people will feel. And so I'm sure that's been really monumental for you. So, as someone who is now beyond the point of publishing this creative aspect of yourself, what guidance would you offer to other young women who maybe have a story within them?
I do believe that it's a timing thing. When you have that instinctive belief that this is the right time, you will start writing it, even if it's not in the most eloquent way, even if it's in a messy way, you will want to get your words out onto your laptop, your computer, your notepad. You will start. And for those who are incredibly anxious about writing, you will start to approach ghostwriters. So it's a timing thing, and I don't feel like it, because once you hit the play button on that journey in your life, you committed to it. Nobody wants to write half a book or
Yeah.
a few chapters. You want to, tell your story. So the advice that I would give is, it's daily words. 1,000 words a day is the average. It can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
It's not an essay like you would have done at school, although there is a beginning, a middle, and an end. You kind of writing as a beginning, a middle, and eternity, because the book is legacy.
Yes.
So it's going on and on and on, whether it's going to be in print, whether it goes out of print, there will be copies in the world. And I feel like that's such a powerful thought, it doesn't really end. It can stay on and continue, and the story and the impact of what you say goes on and on. So also, if you feel like it would be of benefit to you, work with a writing coach for the first half of the book. So you feel like you have a support structure with you and do what you want to do, but you're doing it with an experienced voice who's guiding you around technique. Very important when writing a book. And just finish the book. Don't think about whether you're going to finish it. Just do it. And when the book is complete, then you have a whole conversation again with yourself. Going to go down the traditional publishing route? Do I want to journey on my own as a self-publisher and just bring in my own team of editors, typesetters, book cover designers, and make this a whole second phase of the project, if you want to call it that? You get to decide what you want to do with your first book. And then there's also hybrid options where you can work with traditional agencies, and it's a partnership contract that you can create as well. So my advice is, first write the book, finish the book, feel good about the book, get people to read it, have it proofread, edited, and it will be clear which direction book should go into, and also be innovative with it. We there's a level of seriousness around it, but we're living in times where we have social media, and you can create a movie trailer that leads to a book being promoted. Like, there's no rules around it. So I guess I am a smooth disruptor in the space by creating my own Purple Brain publishing house and having my media launch at Mind Games Escape Room, and just really having fun with the storyline and bringing aspects of the storyline to life. And I think that authors need to know that your discipline will come with very exciting rewards if you're open to it.
Yes. I think that's so wonderful and it's very practical advice as well. And so I must ask, what's next for you?
So in the very, very immediate future, it's the Belito exclusive books launch that's coming up on the 13th of September at 6 p.m. Really excited about that. It's going to be a little extra. I thought, because it's my last, well, for now, my last Durban book launch, let me bring in some MAC cosmetics, and because the dress code is style icon, to celebrate one of the big themes in the book. Ladies and they can have their highlighter done or their makeup touch-ups done during the event. So I'm quite looking forward to that because I don't think that's been done before. I have a stylist who's created something truly iconic. So a beautiful dress that I'm going to fetch very soon and try on and accessorize. So yeah, also having fun with the fashion elements and just really, optimizing this book. My next book most probably won't be about style. So let me enjoy the style stakes on this one, because that's what I love anyway. So next, that's the event that's on my mind right now. But I definitely have plans to take the book further, to promote it further, and possibly hook up with a literary agent because I'm just, working in a national space, but there's a whole world of readers out
Yes.
there. Yeah, and I would love to see the book converted into Spanish and Italian and just different languages and all that. I think that's also a new dream of mine. And you don't stop. I really do feel unstoppable with this book. Um, and I don't want to know where the off button is. I'm just gonna keep going with it and continue to write. Whether it's next going to be fiction or nonfiction, I don't know. But I really do feel like this is a journey that's shown me I have the makings of being a writer. And I can choose to continue to self-publish if I want, or I could choose to try a traditional publishing route next time around. So those are all just options. And it's lovely. It's such a promising way to go about life. You write the book and then you can either look at it as, oh, it's such a saturated market and it's so tough to sell a book and it's going to be so hard. And you can choose to focus on that, or you can say, wow, this book is an opportunity for many dreams come true. This is, a way for me to enter new avenues, new societies, and really just open up conversation and narrative around things that matter to me that can actually maybe save some, maybe help someone make a better decision. So in a way, I feel like I have merged psychology into writing, and that's becoming my primary focus in terms of how I choose to help, I guess.
Well, Shamima, as you had mentioned to me, when you typed the end, it actually was just the beginning. And I wish you all of the best on your literary journey. And if you would like to attend the launch, the Durban launch, the last for now, you can head over to the Exclusive Books website and RSVP to the event. And don't forget, dress as a style icon. Shamima, thank you so much for sharing about the stylish psychologist.
Thank you. It's been beautiful being with you.